Hey, Lord Henry, welcome. As always, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. You mean you failed to open the book, Lord Henry? Or me? Yeah, those checks are for as early on in the game as you can do them. They're a little brutal to make. Yeah, there have been a few of those things, Lord Henry, like we ran into with the Rapture buff as well. A few of those things that have seemed to be different than I remember them. I'm getting old. I mean, could be misremembering things as well, but yeah, some of those things I remember being different. You know, I just got it not that long ago here in the Honor Mode playthrough. I always go back and check my videos here. Because, yeah, we got it right before we went into the Grimforge. Actually, I can go try and... go through my past VODs here real quick while we're waiting to get started. Oh, we only got 3 minutes left. Might not be able to find it in time. Yeah, I got Bliss Spores just for my main character in Honor Mode as well. I just found it in my previous vids. It may be an Honor Mode thing too. So... that's part of what we're going to be doing today. I don't really care for the gloves in there. I mean, I actually experimented with them once, and they cause madness way too often. But yeah, if we have time left over today, we're going to be going through the Zentrum hideout. That will be part of our preparations for getting ready for Act 2. Welcome everyone to today's live stream, episode number 20 of our Baldur's Gate 3 Honor Mode gameplay series. I'm Commander Jorval, and I want to thank you for coming along on our journey today. So, nothing on admin notes that I'm aware of. Nothing has come out from Larian. So, on our recap, last week was an eventful episode. We got the Awakened buff from the Zaith'isk. We showed how to build your characters and outfit your characters so that you could guarantee success on it. We went all the way in. We picked up the Blood of Lathander, and at the end of last week's episode, we had our fight with Inquisitor Wargaz and our encounter with Vlaakith. And today we're going to jump right in and head into the astral plane. We need to do that immediately, otherwise there's the potential for Lae'zel to leave the party. So we definitely need to do that as quickly as we can here. And then...
breathe deep and move.
And then we are going to fight our way out of here. And when I say you need to go do this immediately, I mean immediately.
Don't do it.
And I'll explain the reason for that here in a minute.
Heat pulses out of the astral prism as it begins to flower. Your mind burns hot with excitement. A timeless space, bounded, compressed in a fold. A pocket of astral plane.
Boundless. Timeless. Like every dream that ever was stitched together. It is home.
Okay, and here we are in the astral plane. Now, the reason I said go do this immediately is because Lae'zel warned you during the encounter with Vlaakith that if you leave the room, you're going to incur her wrath. That is not entirely true. There are places inside that room where you can move to that will turn Lae'zel hostile. And she will do that. She will attack you. And there's no way around it. If you jump to a lower area to the north side of that room, there's a little depressed area down there, she'll turn hostile. If you move to the other side of the room, into the other treasure area, she's turned hostile on me twice over there. She hasn't turned hostile on me twice over there, so I'm not entirely sure if it's a portion or just looting stuff over there does it. But don't take any chances with that, is kind of what I'm saying. As soon as you get the opportunity to go into the astral plane, do it. Just so you don't take a chance that something weird happens with Lae'zel. At the end of last week's episode, I was actually a little worried because I had killed the Inquisitor in an area where all of my characters were standing on one side of that doorway. And when you're doing that, the other side of the doorway, the chamber that has Inquisitor Wargaz in it to start with, is grayed out. It's all black, and you can't see into it. That normally indicates that that's a different area, and I was worried that something was going to happen here at the start of this episode where it would consider me outside the room, and as soon as I traversed into it, Lae'zel was going to be hostile again. So luckily it's worked out, but there are some bugs around her dealings with the room in there. So immediately go into the astral prism as soon as you can. So once you get in here, something's going to become very obvious, and that everybody gets an additional status effect, and that's astral gravity. So the gravity here is different. You're immune to falling damage, and your jump distance is tripled. So this is a permanent application of Featherfall and the jump spell as long as you were here in the astral plane. Now it will, up here, there's nothing to, there's nowhere to get to. This island is kind of all by itself, but you want to be careful or pay careful attention to your surroundings, because there are areas that are reachable while you're exploring both this area and this area down here when you get into the astral plane. So make sure you look around, because this jump distance, it's certainly a thing. And that's what I mean. And even Shovel has it. So while we're down here, we're going to do some quick exploring before we head into the Beckoning Cave, which is where we're meant to be going.
Open up.
You're going to find your first divine bone shards out here. And this opens up a vitriol of divine miasma for you to craft. So the vitriol of the divine miasma is part of an elixir, which is the elixir of universal resistance, which gives you, like just like it sounds, resistance to all types of damage. And you need 3 bone shards to be able to craft it. There used to be 3 in here. At some point they removed the 3rd one that used to be up here, and there's only 2 now. But still, a very powerful crafting item that you want to pick up when you're in here. And there's nothing out here on this platform. You can see you can reach it, but there's nothing out there. Okay, again, a slate talking vaguely about Orpheus, the Prince of the Comet. And there's your second divine bone shard. Now here I'm going to break my group. And again, looking at your mini-map, I'm going to jump up here. It was either up here or down here on this platform where the 3rd divine shard used to be, divine bone shard used to be. Don't entirely know why it was removed, but you only have 2, so make sure you pick them both up while you're here. Now, after this, there are no other locations you can jump to. Okay, so it always looked like there was some way to get back here to this area, but you find out what that area is here in a second, because that's where this goes. Hey, Alstamura, welcome. Welcome back. Thanks for being here.
Let's see.
So you came, in spite of all my warnings. Disappointing. Come, we will talk in private. Just the 2 of us. I may have made a mistake, trusting you. I told you to stay away from the Githyanki.
But you just couldn't help yourself. Could you? And now... you've come here to murder me.
I told you I stole the artifact from someone. Well, I stole it from Vlaakith. Since then, she has become desperate.
Vlaakith wants me dead because I know her secret. It is a secret so great that if her people ever found out, that would be the end of her rule, the end of her. That same secret is how I've been protecting you from the Absolute. I can hear your thoughts. You think I'm lying. Vlaakith warned you that I would try to deceive you. But consider this. What reason have I to deceive you? I want the same thing as you. Freedom.
I'm on your side. I have been since the very beginning.
It seems I was right to put my faith in you after all. Thank you. Vlaakith will be furious, to make no mention of your Githyanki companion. The Lich Queen fears nothing more than the loss of her empire. The knowledge I have of her deception will bring that about. Godlike in power, yes, but with none of the sanctity. Vlaakith is lying to her people. She pretends to know how Gith destroyed the Mind Flayer Empire. In truth, she knows nothing. If the Illithid Empire were ever to return, she would be incapable of stopping them. And if her people found out about her impotence, there would be mutiny, revolution, the end of her rule. But that very power, the power to resist Illithid control, which Vlaakith only pretends to know, is how I've been protecting you. I suppose she hoped to extract it from my corpse. Since you spared me that fate, she will come for you. She most certainly will. I have delayed long enough. The next attack is overdue, and I can't risk you being caught in the middle of it. I need you out there, searching for the Absolute. You were on the right path, to Moonrise Towers. Return to it. I hope you are ready to face Vlaakith's wrath. The entire creche stands ready to kill you in her name. Good luck.
Speak. Have you killed my queen's enemy? Vlaakith does not lie to her faithful. Open your mind. Show me.
Your mind tingles. Lae'zel seeks entrance. Your thoughts become one. She sees the truth of your confrontation in an instant.
Vlaakith Tafkinazin. I see only madness. Vlaakith bears the full might of Tunarath's arms, and the covenant of the Great Mother Gith. Skvar! We are leaving this place, now!
Okay, so there's a lot to be learned here about the lore behind Vlaakith. But the basics of it are that there's been a conflict between Vlaakith and Gith's son, Orpheus, and Vlaakith is using the Githyanki people to attain her mortality and her power. Her ascension that every conditioned to believe is the highest honor is actually how Vlaakith maintains her power. She uses their souls to give her that power and immortality.
I'm glad you came to your senses. Now leave, before the others come for us.
Vlaakith. Vlaakith! I have wielded your fury as a blade, roared your wrath as a dragon. You promised ascension. Yet I crawl among my own people, low as an asp's belly. Shkageth! I followed your path. What good? This heart of stone, for it to be shattered. She tests me. A trial of faith. Kalir prepared me. Only the heaviest souls soar to the Astral. Yes. Yes. I might gain Vlaakith's favor yet. Silence! I must think.
Okay, so Lae'zel is currently going through her crisis of confidence, so to speak, concerning Vlaakith. And that's going to continue along with her personal quest line as we go here. Okay, so just marking off the quest that we've completed. Okay, and now, like we were told by the character in the Astral Prism, we're going to have to fight our way out of here, because the entire creche is waiting for us, and that's going to be a problem. So let's quickly use the Astral Prism. Yeah, it doesn't weigh that much. Okay, it was the heavy crossbow. Alright, so first we want to do some searching in here, though. And this is that lower area I was talking about. You can jump down here, but if you do, Lae'zel's going to turn hostile before you go into the Planecaster. If you jump up here, Lae'zel will turn hostile before you go into the Planecaster. I've even had her, like I say, when I go over here, have her turn hostile. So go into the Planecaster first before you do anything, and then you're free to explore. Now, I'm not going to take any chances with this, just in case. So let's go pick up all of the stuff that we have laying around here and do some searching, because we're going to need it. So let's go pick up everything from the bodies here. And I don't think anybody made it through here. Ah, yes, they did. There's one. And see, this is what I mean by it being grayed out. And everything that's in there, it kind of despawns it when you're out of those areas. And if all of my characters are in here, everything in this room turns gray and kind of despawns it. So that's what I meant. Some of that area can get a little strange with Lae'zel. So there are some things on the ground here that came out of these broken barrels here that we want to pick up. We'll search Wargaz here. The Potion of Angelic Slumber is great. Gives you a long rest. It takes 2 turns to wear off. You can use it at any time, though. The Circlet of Psionic Revenge. When you succeed on a saving throw, the foe that casts it takes 1d4 psychic damage. Githyanki also gain a +1 bonus to all of the spellcasting saving throws. So it makes it easier to pass saving throws, and then when you do pass it, you cause 1d4 psychic damage to the enemy that cast it. He's also carrying a Githyanki Greatsword. Nothing special now. It's a standard +1 Greatsword for all intents and purposes. We obviously don't need it now for anybody. So more camp supplies. Githyanki crossbows, they're just +1 crossbows. Githyanki short swords, again, +1 short swords. Now we're going to do a little searching in here. And one of the important things are the display cases. So here you're going to get the Hoarfrost boots. So the Hoarfrost boots are part of Gale's kind of icy build. If you're using a ring that causes a 1.5 meter radius ice patch to appear every time you deal cold damage, having a pair of boots where you cannot slip on ice is very useful. And that's part of that whole build to go along with them. There's a strange chunk of amber in here, and I'm actually going to have Gale come in and pick that up.
Right away.
Okay. We'll hold on to it.
Trust no one. Don't linger.
Okay, and now we finish searching this side. So there's an elegant chest here that's important, because in it you have the strange conduit ring. So while concentrating on a spell, you deal an additional 1d4 psychic damage. This is very, very useful, especially if you're one of those characters who wants to keep something like Hex up all of the time, or Hunter's Mark, or something like that. In that case, you're just basically going to get an additional 1d4 psychic damage on your weapon attacks. And since I am going to be keeping Hex up throughout the remainder of the time I'm going to be here, I'm going to equip that on my Bard.
Watch your back. Moving.
The Diadem of Arcane Synergy. When you inflict a condition, you gain Arcane Synergy for 2 turns. Now, we've talked about Arcane Synergy before. So, weapon attacks deal additional damage equal to the affected entity's spellcasting ability modifier. So, whenever you inflict a condition of any type, you gain Arcane Synergy, which is going to gain you additional damage to your weapon attacks. And again, for my Bard here, Hex is a condition, but there are all sorts of other conditions that I can apply as well. And as soon as I do that, now if I'm concentrating on Hex, I have 1d4 additional psychic damage, and then I have an additional +3 damage because Charisma is my spellcasting modifier to go on top of that. So an additional damage boost here for your melee-based spellcaster types.
Watch your back.
Then we'll move over here.
Certainly.
And here we have the Necklace of Elemental Augmentation. So when one of your cantrips deals one of the elemental damages, add your spellcasting modifier to the damage dealt.
At the ready.
Now for Gale, who does most of his damage with the Ray of Frost cantrip, this means he's going to add an additional +4 to all of his damage because he's dealing cold damage. So we're getting some
Well, hello.
damage boosts here due to all of this, which is all good because we're going to need it all. No giant fingers, great to have. Elixir of Bloodlust, really good. Oil of Accuracy is meh. And here you have the Skin Burster. So the Skin Burster is when the wielder deals melee damage with this weapon, they gain 2 turns of Force Conduit. Now, Force Conduit we haven't looked at before. Basically, all of your martial damages are decreased by 1 per turn remaining. So as soon as you hit somebody with this, you're going to have a -2 to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. On the next turn, you'll have -1, and then it will go away. If the entity takes damage while it has 5 or more turns remaining, it deals 1d4 force damage in a 6-meter radius. So it does a burst damage of force all around you once you stack up enough stacks of this. So remember, every turn you hit, you gain 2, or every time you deal damage with it, you gain 2 turns. So if you equip this, and you have extra attack, you can potentially gain 4 turns of it on your turn. If you're able to attack with your bonus action, you can gain 6 stacks in 1 turn. And then as soon as somebody hits you, you're going to deal a force burst all the way around you. So it's an interesting weapon to kind of have and to utilize, but it's not nearly as good as anything that we're carrying right now, simply because we have the Silver Sword of the Astral Plane with us right now, and nothing we have is going to compare to that from a two-handed perspective on Lae'zel right now. Okay, so we finished searching the chamber here. We're going to head up here.
Something good here, I hope.
And here you have the Gloves of the Belligerent Skies. Now, these are incredibly important for Shadowheart's Reverberation build. When the wearer deals Thunder, Lightning, or Radiant damage, you inflict 2 turns of Reverberation. Reverberation, we've learned about before. You have a -1 penalty to all of their saving throws per turn of it remaining. And when they have 5 or more stacks of it, they take thunder damage and possibly fall prone. So if you deal radiant damage here, which Shadowheart is good at doing, then you can proc this really, really easily. Now, thunder damage also applies to this. And with the Shriek ability on Falar Aloof, you can have anybody trigger thunder damage by hitting an entity. And that means that these can be useful throughout the remaining time here, as long as you pair it with Falar Aloof. But an incredibly pair of gloves, just hidden in a random elegant chest. Don't miss them while you're in here. And hey, Rudy, welcome. Sorry I was a little late there. So here we have some Githyanki slates with... This one's kind of bugged out a little bit. With some various info about Moonrise Towers and all of that sort of stuff. Following places that they've searched for the Astral Prism. And then here you have a note.
Here goes nothing.
Okay, so Voss, who we met, well, we didn't technically meet him at the bridge because he disappeared before we could talk to him, has been labeled a traitor now. And we're going to learn more about that possibly coming up today. And then we can move over here, and yes, it says empty crates, and they are empty crates. There's nothing in there, but it's D&D, right? Which means you search everything. And here's a confiscated book. And this book is what was mentioned in the encounter inside the room with Kithrak Therazin. He is vigilant about protecting, quote unquote, his students from legends about Orpheus. And this is the book that was confiscated to do that. Okay, and that's going to finish up all of our searching inside this room. So you can see there's a lot of good items in this room. And you want to make sure you search everything so that you can pick them all up. Now I did want to look at something. She's got gloves of the growling underdog right now. Probably going to just swap those out temporarily. Because actually, fighting our way out of here is actually a lot harder than getting through the Inquisitor fight. Especially this fight right outside here. This first fight we're going to run into has been problematic in several of my playthroughs. And we're going to try and get through it here
Enough waiting. I
in the
crave
best
blood.
way we can. But I need to look
This for now.
and see. I'm not going to have Falar Aloof because that needs a short rest, and I really don't want to take a short rest when I still have so much action economy
Action,
left.
not reaction.
Here.
Keep your distance, darling.
So we're going to hold off on that
Intestines
short
throb,
rest.
Blood whispers.
I want to put
Mind my
everybody up
step.
here.
Seems simple enough.
Right.
Ready for anything. Light steps.
Adventure awaits. If this isn't important.
Let's put on... Who's got the periaptive health? There it is. And he has the Amulet of the Unworthy. Okay, so we're going to take Shovel up here. Because, like I say, things can get a little hairy up here, and I'm going to be utilizing some of my resources here to get through this fight. Because like I say, this fight is not great. And I'm going to probably, like I say, overutilize some of my resources here to get through it. Two problems here. Raiders are bad. They can cause a lot of damage with their heavy crossbows. And they have extra attack, so they can shoot twice. And they can potentially have bonuses to inflict additional psychic damage. So the raiders aren't capable of one-shotting you unless they crit. But they can one-turn you with that crit. The Ardent back here casts some really debilitating spells. And that's a problem. In addition to Kithrak Therazin here. And she is a difficult foe in her own right, simply because of Ready to Parry, which she has. Now, Ready to Parry, like a lot of the Githyanki warriors, the first weapon attack that, or not just weapon attack, but attack that hits them melee or ranged, I guess. Not spell attacks, but martial attacks, is that incoming damage is reduced by 10. That's a massive reduction in damage. And however, once you use it once and they use their reaction to do it, then they are done. They can't do it again until the next turn. So you want to kind of attack them first and get rid of that Ready to Parry, and then start dealing damage against them if you can. The other problem with this is that Therazin has the perfect sentry trait. She cannot be surprised. So if I get a surprise round out of this, Therazin is not going to be surprised, and if I roll behind her in initiative, she's going to attack Shovel, and she's going to one-shot Shovel, and then combat will have reset, and I'll have to start it again. So we'll kind of see how well this plays out here, but you never know. Shovel might roll really well. But we're going to try and attack Kithrak here and see how it plays out. I would like for her to be turned around when this happened, if possible. So we'll get an attack here and see what happens. Okay, so she rolled before Shovel. Okay. So Shovel is going to have to end his turn, and there goes the surprise round. So everything... They're now going to attack Shovel and kill him. And combat's going to reset. Okay. So that was not unexpected to have that happen.
Really?
So...
Move unseen.
And that is part of the problem with this set of combat, is if Kithrak Therazin casts Fear on you, you've got a huge problem. Because you lose control of your character when you do that. Okay, and since she can't be surprised, you have to roll in front of her in initiative to maintain control of this engagement. Because if she rolls in front of you and casts fear, you've got a huge problem. So let's, like I say, I'm going to overutilize some of my resources here. So I'm going to go with an elixir of vigilance here to help offset this with Astarion. Now, Astarion has high saves against fear anyway, because of his high wisdom stat, because of him being a monk in this. So it is always possible, and like Tex is mentioning, with a potion of heroism, it is always possible for Astarion to fail his roll against fear. However, I can avoid that roll entirely if Astarion rolls in front of her for the surprise round. So a couple of different ways to do it. Either one of them is a risk. You are at risk either way you do this. And I don't have a, but I might have, I don't have a scroll of heroism either. I don't know if I have anybody who could cast it, because heroism is a cleric spell. So yeah, I don't have the heroism option. Oh, yeah, I do. Okay. So make yourself or a target immune to frightened and gain 5 temporary hit points for 10 turns. So what I can possibly do here is remove one of my smites and cast heroism on Astarion before he goes up here.
Still in shadow.
I can take the elixir
Light steps.
of vigilance with him. That's going to offset his elixir of hill giant strength, so I'm going to reduce my damage. But again, at this point, I don't care. I need him to stay alive during this. Having him alive is a lot more damage than having him dead. So I'm going to take the elixir of vigilance. Okay. And then but the elixir of heroism is different than the spell heroism or the scroll heroism. So now I need to get rid of some of his carry weight. Okay. Now I'm going to have Lae'zel cast heroism on him, and the timer's going to start ticking.
Unseen.
Let's have some fun. The element of surprise.
Okay, so heroism is ticking here. Now I'm going to take a potion of invisibility. He's not carrying any, he's not carrying one. Oh yeah, he was. Okay. Okay, so I rolled first here, which is what I wanted to have happen. The enemy is surprised, but again, Therazin is not. She's completely unfazed by that. So now that I've removed her ready to parry, let's start going after her with everything else that we can. Now, the Bloodless trait here for her is going to give her a -1 to attack rolls, saving throws, and most ability checks. So I'm going to use that first. Okay, and now I'm going to use Flurry of Blows Topple. And I'm going to use Luck of Far Realms here. Okay. So she saved against it, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Unheard, unseen.
And now Lae'zel. Again, I'm overutilizing my resources here because I do not like this fight. Okay, let's actually do this instead. We'll move Lae'zel back here a little bit.
Taking my time in the
And I'll use a spell slot for this.
Be on my way.
Okay, and I'm going to cast Invisibility on Lae'zel.
And away I go.
Still in shadow.
Objective noted.
And we're going to start with Soulbreaker. Okay, that stunned the Kithrak, and that was a huge land for us there. I should have actually turned off Great Weapon Master all in. I saw I had an 80% chance, so I was still willing to risk it for the extra damage, but that's huge. That helps us out tremendously in this fight.
Shouldn't have wished to live in more interesting times.
Let's get this over with. Very well.
Okay, so he's not wearing that. He doesn't have the other item yet either, which is perfectly fine. Okay, so I can hit here.
Best think ahead, or I'm lost.
should be able to get Slashing Flourish ranged here. Okay. Alright, and that again gets me Arcane Synergy. Because of the item that I just equipped. So now Kithrak is in a bad way here. So I'm going to get Hex out. I don't need it for this. Okay, but again, that will get me Arcane Synergy every time that I cast it on somebody, which is just straight bonus damage. And you see all the damage riders that went in there? There were 3 additional damage riders to go along with that.
What path lies before me?
And now I am in control of this fight.
The dance macabre.
In every way.
Let's light them up.
Hey, like I say, I'm going to be overutilizing here. Because the next most dangerous target here is actually the Raider. So for Lae'zel, let's get up here.
If they will not see sense,
Let's see if we can finish the Raider off.
Taking position.
Let's make sure we hit. Okay. And she's benefiting from the Gloves of Belligerent Skies. Because again, she's got additional radiant damage from the Morning Lord's Radiance buff. So she's now causing reverberation every time she hits. Since we are definitely taking a short rest after this, let's see if we can get a kill here with our bonus action. We didn't. So we're going to get rid of him. Okay. So now here, now that I'm past this... Oh, I forgot they're all on. I need to move these over. Use one of my bonus actions to now bring that back up. Okay, that's going to take him invisible. Exactly what I wanted.
No choice but to keep going.
Now we want to proc an attack here from... We want our attacks to go against our bard here. So I'm actually interested. Haven't seen this happen. Haven't used this yet. Bunch of damage riders. What's my armor class now? 30? Nice. Like it. That was a lot of damage from a single-handed dex-based longsword.
What fools these mortals be.
Okay. If that is the last she's going to be able to do, then I'm perfectly fine with that. Those 8 points of damage. or 9 points of damage. Because we'll just get Lae'zel to end this.
You bow or you break.
Vlaakith's will be done.
Of course I don't, because why would I? That would be way too easy, Lord Henry.
All is ashen.
Thank you very much. Again, another reason why I love my chat. So, thank you all. Like I've said it before, but I'll take time to say it again. I love all the interactions with all of you in chat. You guys giving me, like I say, I've played this game for almost, I just looked today actually, almost 1,600 hours. But there are still tons of things that I forget, or that my mind lapses on, or that I just have wrong. So I love all the interactions, just like when I was talking to Tex a little bit ago. There are multiple ways to do these things, and I love you guys throwing all of that out there. But especially helpful in reminding me when I forget stuff like that. Thank you very much, as always. So now we're going to go through and again pick up what we have here. That fight seemed a lot easier than it is. It entirely depends on how you enter that first interaction with Therazin. She also carries the Soulbreaker Greatsword. Her first round of combat, she doesn't normally use it. She normally tries to cast fear on your characters. So, however, once that fear is cast, she will then break out the Soulbreaker action of her Greatsword. This is the exact same weapon action that's on the Silver Sword of the Astral Plane that Lae'zel has right now. And she will stun your character. So, you're fearful, you can't take a turn, then you're stunned, and everything becomes just a massive hit against you, and it just wipes you out. And then you're down a character. You can't get close enough to resurrect them using Revivify without being brought into combat again. And then she's unable to be surprised again. So the whole combat, you need to really prepare for this, because like I say, in a lot of ways, it's even harder than the Inquisitor fight that you just had. Okay. So this would be the sword that we would equip on Lae'zel right now if we did not have the Silver Sword of the Astral Plane. But since we do, I don't necessarily need it.
A quick rummage.
And now here I'm definitely going to take my first short
A lot on
rest.
my mind. And, well,
And I'm going to do that using the Song of Rest. Okay.
Direct me.
And then Gale, I'm immediately going to bring Shovel out again.
still in control.
Like I say, Shovel can be useful in that fight, but only if he rolls higher than Therazin. And it's, given the stats that they both have, it's a 50-50 shot, because her bonus to initiative is equaled out by the higher dexterity that we have here. So it's actually 55-45 in favor of Therazin as far as who's going to roll higher in initiative. But for a summon, you might as well try it. And if you roll ahead of her in initiative, then you can bring everybody into that fight on your terms. So, like I say,
Never a dull moment.
it's worthwhile to try it out, even if it
Not
doesn't
over,
work. And it
then
didn't
through.
work in our case. Okay, so now once we get into the captain's quarters, we can start searching again.
Let's see here.
There's some more stuff you can read in here. Basically, they're just trying to capture or find the Orbina again. I love that, walking all the way around the desk to go search it, pathing thing. The map of the Shadowlands, you can click on it. It doesn't do anything.
A map of the Sword Coast. My people have scouted well beyond the temple.
There are a bunch of pickaxes here that you can sell later. And I forgot the rope over there. So again, you don't have to be as handsy with all of this stuff if you don't want to in your playthrough. I've mentioned it before multiple times. The reason I do it is because every one of these things sells for gold. Even if it only sells for 1 gold, it's still 1 gold, and by the time you pick up all this trash, you can literally end up with hundreds of gold by the time you go sell stuff. And that's money that you are desperately going to need when you get into Act 2. Okay, a little thing here letting everybody know that that Therazin was nominally in charge as captain, but the Inquisitor can do whatever they want. Okay, and now we can start making our way out here, and as the entity in the Astral Prism told us, the entire creche is now arrayed against us. So from now on, it's just, let's get into a fight. And the first one that we're going to have is right in here. Okay, this is with the Quartermistress, and her 2 guards. Again, the Raider is incredibly damaging. However, we have somebody else, another warrior, who's got the ready to parry trait. And that's what we're going to, again, focus on here. And we're going to do that by bringing Shovel in. Okay, if you look at the rest of them, none of them have that perfect sentry trait that actually came from the greatsword that Therazin was wielding. So by default, none of them have sentry. So we should get surprise rounds out of all of these when we start. And again, I'm going to remove the ready to parry here off the warrior. Okay, that gets our surprise round.
Quietly.
And now I need to look and see who rolled in front of Shovel. So the warrior did. Okay, so I'm going to focus my attacks on him. So I can get sneak attack damage here. Actually, yes. Okay, and I rolled a crit. I was not hoping that was going to happen. So, if you roll a crit, you get the option for critical sneak attack damage. However, none of that applies on the first attack that you make from hiding. Okay, so I doubled all of my damage, but I didn't get any sneak attack damage out of it. So on the remainder of Astarion's turn here, I couldn't gain any more sneak attack damage because I've already used it this turn.
Ready for anything.
Maybe I should stay crouched forever.
So let's get my bard in here and see if we can get some... We're going to apply Hex first. And we'll see where this gets us in the initiative.
First step is the
But it doesn't really matter. Because it's a surprise round. So...
This really isn't my forte. On my way.
That might be... out of sight.
Ready for anything. Not one false move.
If it was out of sight with them, it's going to be out of sight with her, probably. Nope, I can hit. Okay. So, Shovel's going to move out of the way. Okay, so for Astarion here,
Quickly.
okay, got my invisibility, which I wanted.
I can't even catch my breath.
Can't quite reach him or reach her. But the Raider's next in turn order anyway.
Don't waste a step.
Let's use Slashing Flourish and see if we can get her frightened. Perfect. Look at all those damage riders. That almost one-shot her. I love Arcane Synergy. All of that Strange Conduit Ring, Arcane Synergy being stacked up.
I am fury. I am death. Make way.
Oh, didn't need that. I'm thinking about who I'm going to go after next. No, I'm not going to use it. Well, yeah, actually I will. How many of these do I have? I've got one left. Okay.
May the dice roll in my favor.
Might be able to get a kill here. Oh, no, I can't. Let's see if... Oh, he's just a little short.
Let's spill some blood. Excellent.
All right.
How delicious.
So from here, we'll do some more searching. And again, there's just a lot of stuff you can pick up here that you want to pick up every bit of it and utilize all the vendors you have available to you here to sell all of this stuff off. Your arcane interference arrows are actually really nice, especially in honor mode. You get the amulet of branding. This comes with Brand the Weak, which is once per long rest. So they become vulnerable to bludgeoning, slashing, or piercing damage. The effect lasts for 3 turns or until the target takes damage. And that's important. Because when you want to cast this is on one of your major boss enemy type targets. And then if your main melee damaging character is not next in turn order, you want to avoid hitting them until you can get, like Lae'zel here, to land a big slashing attack with her greatsword to double that damage up. So it is a very useful amulet. You just need to make sure you know how you use it. This might start overloading him pretty quick. Okay, yep, and there it is. Kind of expected we were going to be getting to that point. Okay.
Oh, enough waiting. I crave blood.
Okay, some arrows. Camp supplies. Healing potions, always needed. Spells for Gale. Polymorph is nice. And don't ever sleep on Stinking Cloud. As an AoE spell that prevents people from taking actions, it can be very nice when they fail a saving throw. Okay, some more camp supplies. And pretty soon we're going to get to the same point where we've gotten enough camp supplies that we don't need to pick them up anymore. And I haven't looked at my numbers in a long time to see where we are on camp supplies, but we're probably pretty close to that point already, and this camera angle is bugging me. I know there was like 1 pixel where that thing showed up, but I'm not going to waste time on stream dealing with it. Okay. And then back here, again, more things that you can pick up and sell. Okay, and last place you want to go is up here. There'll be a few more items up here you can pick up.
Open up.
Arrow of Lightning. Nice. Crafting supplies. And I've told you before, what's going to happen with these crafting supplies is I'm going to, when I get into Act 2 off stream, after one of the episodes, I will sit down. Actually, I'll probably do it on stream for one, just to show you kind of how it works with a transmutation wizard. And then I'll start crafting stuff up to gain more of these supplies so I don't have to buy them. So here is the cliffside. This is just another entrance into the creche. You can enter this way from outside if you'd like. You get the same sort of interaction that you did at the front gate. The sentries here are going to interrupt you and question you about why you're coming in and that sort of stuff. So there's no difference whether you enter here or enter from the front, unless you're trying to enter in a hostile manner and just start killing everything. If you're planning to do that, then yes, definitely come in this way, because it's easier to deal with these three than it is with what we're going to deal with here in a second.
What to do? At the ready.
I'm going to move everybody back a little bit here. Just kind of around the corner a little. And we're going to get ready for our next one here. Now, our next one here, shovel isn't going to be of much use for us doing it the way that we're going to do it. And that's because we can't access this area unless we go around the front. But it's not going to really matter how we do this. We've got 2 warriors down here. We've got a Gish here, and then an Ardent and 2 Raiders. Now, extra attack and that sort of stuff on all of them, but again, none of them have the alert feat, so to speak. So you can actually solo this with Astarion. If things work out a certain way, and we'll see if it does. Okay, so I'm going to maneuver myself here back kind of into this spot on the other side of this column. And I'm going to go after Raider Ragur here. I'm going to start with a sneak attack. Okay, so that triggers a surprise round. I got a crit there, which is really nice. So now I'm not going to maneuver over to his side. I'm just going to end my turn since I rolled first in initiative. Now here, an 80% chance to hit. How about we go into hiding?
Let's have a little fun.
And up that to 96. See if we can get invisibility out of this by getting a kill. And we can. So now I want to move away from that spot just for now.
Time to move.
And we'll see what they do. Okay, so that's what I expected they were going to do. a lot of times they will kind of trap themselves down here. Now, a couple of the Githyanki here have keys to these doors. And if you are not in hiding at the end of your turn, they will actually path up towards you, which means they will walk through these doors and take the ladder up here towards you. And that gives them a pathway not just up here, but also out here toward the back. And that's why I left everybody down around the corner in case they actually walked through here to get up the ladder. I didn't want them to spot the other party members. But now, if you go into hiding at the end of every turn, then most of the time they're just going to stay down here. And they're not going to path up to you. So we're going to get a sneak attack. We're going to go after the other raider here.
Make it hurt.
Okay, and now I'm going to use an action to go into, or my bonus action to go into hiding. And again, kind of move away from that spot, just in case they do path up here. And watch what they do. Okay, so he's going to come all the way around, which is interesting. That very rarely happens. But see, the rest of them will just sit down here and yell at you. And Astarion can now just sit up here, sneak attack, go into hiding, end turn. Sneak attack, go into hiding, end turn. Very much like he did with the fight against the ogres in the Blighted Village.
Feel their anguish.
Okay, so he's invisible, doesn't have to go into hiding. And now I'm going to have to get ready for him coming around.
Out of sight. Out
Because
of
the
mind.
rest of my party...
Should mind my step.
I don't want them getting seen here when he comes around. But what I want them to do is to be able to get
Hiding.
into combat when he does come around. I want to delay, I want to give him as much time as he possibly can to get all the way around to me. Because once I bring those other party members into combat, then they're going to path toward me. So I want to get as much damage in the meantime
Time to kill.
as I can. Ah, and he's now stuck. Perfect. So Astarion is just going to solo this thing.
Leave no trace.
Again, it's honor mode, so I do not care about cheese accusations in honor mode. Now the two warriors are the hardest because they have the ready to parry trait.
You're mine. Time for a new approach. They won't know what bit them. Ready or not?
And as long as you go into hiding at the end of your turn, you're good.
Let's do it. Let's find some prey.
Yeah, that's exactly it, Lord Henry. That's a great way to put it. Okay, I'm invisible, so I don't need to be in hiding. And now, like I say, the warriors are the hardest because every turn they're going to regain their ready to parry trait, which reduces damage by 10. So, see, that would have been 19.
Into the shadows.
And see, they get it back every turn. So that was a 26 roll.
Just like old times.
So you can still overcome it. It just takes you a little bit longer is all.
The subtle approach. Now they see me.
Okay, now while I'm invisible here, I'm actually going to kind of make my way back out. And see if this exits combat or not. Because now he's going to be coming towards me. After I break stealth. Can I hit him from there? No, but I can move just up to there.
No escape.
Okay, so now I'm going to move here. Use my other bonus action to hide and make my way away from that location. And this is going to reset combat. He's going to run up, he's going to search for me. He's not going to find me, and then he's going to run back to his old position. Then I can do this over again from a much better location. Because now he's going to run in here and he's going to stand right here. And you never want to turn your back to a rogue monk. But hey, who am I to correct the enemy if they're going to keep making mistakes? Okay, so got a surprise round.
They won't know what bit them. Time for a new approach.
And now he's trapped in here too. Like I say, it's fairly rare that he leaves this room, but it does happen like that.
Ready or not? We'll do it my way.
Rolling pretty low with the Titan string bow here.
Let's find some prey.
Alright, so there we go.
Tread carefully. Into the shadows.
Vlaakith's will be done.
Okay, so we're gonna come up here and pick up these items that are up here real quick. And we will continue fighting our way out of here.
How do people
Now,
do this all day?
Technically, you only have to have 2 fights to get out of here. Well, I guess you don't have to have any fights if you want to use a bunch of invisibility and invisibility potions. But the fight against Therazin, right when you leave the Inquisitor's chamber, and then this fight here gets you access to the cliffside exit, and you can leave. You're giving up a significant amount of XP, because every one of the kills in here is 75 XP at the minimum. I believe Therazin and a couple others, I'm not going to go look, are worth 150. So you're giving up a significant amount of XP if you don't clear everything out here. But again, you're not required to do so.
Securing.
There's a key that you're going to need. And clear that out.
One true way. Nothing hurts anymore. Very well.
Seek and you shall find me. On it.
Okay, and there's... Where is he going?
Take a gander.
He's trying to leave, somehow. So the key that you picked up upstairs, we'll look at it here in a second. So a pearl.
As you wish.
Actually, I thought that key unlocked one of these. Guess it doesn't. The key's on
Pleasure.
one either to get the Yankee out here. Not waste any action economy for this.
The air is ripe with magic. I venture forth.
And there's another key. Gishvarag here is going to have the Ring of Arcane Synergy. So, very similar to the last Arcane Synergy item that we picked up. However, this one procs when you deal damage with a cantrip. You gain Arcane Synergy. So, as opposed to inflicting a condition, you gain Arcane Synergy. If you deal damage with a cantrip, this does the same thing. Now, Arcane Synergy, here again, you're adding your spellcasting ability modifier to weapon attack damage. So it's not great for your casters who aren't using melee weapons and that sort of stuff. But again, for your swords bard, especially as I get deeper into Warlock, and I'm utilizing the Eldritch Blast cantrip more, this is going to be another way for me to proc Arcane Synergy for my weapon attacks that I use. Okay, and those keys will unlock these doors.
Might as well.
Okay, just another thing that you learn about what's been happening around here. The kobolds we already encountered, all of that sort of stuff. So, nothing new for us.
All right.
Very valuable healing potions for us. There's also some more camp supplies down there that aren't labeled. And now, one thing that I haven't done, I don't think. I was debating whether I want to do it. I'll just use this one last time, since I can. I have it available to me.
Let's see what this does.
One thing that I forgot to do was deal with the Necromancy of Thay. I haven't done that yet on this character, I don't believe. But here is Elika. We saw Elika overlooking the bridge encounter where we picked up the Silver Sword of the Astral Plane at the Githyanki Patrol, and unfortunately she met her end here at the creche. We asked her to join us. She might have been safe.
The corpse regards you lifelessly.
Githyanki. Slowly. Painfully. Absolute. Moonrise. Couldn't understand. Road to Baldur's gates. Blocked. Took a new path. Found monastery. Remembered. A rhyme. Blood of Lathander. Hidden. Guarded by monks. Decided to look for it.
Okay, and if you've come in here and you cannot get into here without a fight and have this interaction. You can't do it. It's a restricted area. Even if you're invisible and you come in here and close the gate behind you and have this and cast Speak with the Dead, they're going to realize it and you're going to get into a fight. But if you come in here hostile and you clear out this first fight, then you can learn more about the Blood of Lathander.
East, west, blood is blessed.
And that's a clue to how to solve the puzzle.
Sun, it finds its rest.
The spell's power wanes. You can ask no more questions.
But we obviously didn't need to do any of that.
No rest for the wicked, I see. Most excellent.
It's a bloody note here from one of the monks. You learn that the Githyanki tortured them as well. So, I really don't have a whole lot of qualms about killing every Githyanki in this place after what they've done.
Mind never quiet.
Moving ahead.
Okay, so now this side has been cleared out. This was the captain's quarters. This is where we just were. So now we have three more fights to get into. The next one that we're going to do is here. And we want to do this one when we have as much action economy as possible, because this one can get out of hand if you don't watch it. And that's simply because of the number of people and what the Savarsh here can do. Again, as far as examining them goes, none of them have the alert trait, so you can get surprise rounds here. He's a crossbow expert, which you obviously want to watch out for, but it's not really this crossbow you have to worry about. He imparts Githyanki combat knowledge on the youths. Now, at 28 hit points, the youths aren't really that big of a deal. However, when he casts his spell on them, they gain 20 temporary hit points. And they gain some additional combat prowess. And that can, like I say, get this fairly overwhelming since there are so many of them. You have a bunch of dual wielders as well that can make 2 attacks per round, which benefit from psionic damage. So it can get, or I guess dual wielders here, it can get really difficult. You can get overwhelmed a lot more quickly than you would think. So you want to focus the Savarsh as much as you can. However, you're probably not going to be able to kill him in a single turn with ranged attacks. So what I do is I normally try and drag them out of this room. So I'm going to get a surprise round here out of this with Shovel. I'm going to guarantee that surprise round. Okay. Now, the Savarsh rolled in front of Shovel. So now I'm going to get Shovel out of the way. I'll probably end up losing Shovel on this, if I had to guess. But, again, Shovel's just there to get me that surprise round. I'm going to leave everybody else in hiding back here. And move Astarion up. Here we go with the stupid doors again. Because from here, I can definitely get a sneak attack on 3 different people here. And I'm going to start laying damage into Keth here. Actually, I'm not going to do that. And I'd sneak attack in afterwards. So, Keth is going to have an opportunity to go. Now, he rolls really high in initiative, regardless of not having alert. So he's always really high up in the order just because of his dexterity. And then I'm going to use Astarion to kind of lure them out of this room. Okay, so for here I'm going to dash. Whoops, meant to dash, not hide. That might reset combat. That was a mistake. Well, maybe not. Because they're going to go after Shovel. And I want to get him kind of around the corner over here. We'll see if I can keep combat going here. Okay, so he couldn't make it far enough, but these ones will. Which means they'll look around for me, they won't find me, and they'll reset combat. So, yeah, that was... I meant to click dash, not hide. So, that was a mistake on my part, because it resets combat, and he gets to heal all the way up. So I can still get a surprise round here, though. With Astarion. Okay, so I'm going to stay right where I am here. I'm actually going to move back just a little bit and go into hiding.
Into the shadows.
Now I can get another sneak attack on him.
Yes.
Now I'm going to dash. I'm not going to hide. And again, I'm going to kind of move myself around the corner here.
Let's go.
Not too far away. And they're all going to dash toward me. With the exception of him, who's probably going to cast something. Okay. So now you can see he likes to cast this mental instruction. And see, they gain 20 temporary hit points. So that makes them substantially more tanky here. And they deal an additional 2d6 psychic damage for every one of their attacks. And like I say, there's a bunch of dual wielders here. So things can get sporty with this really, really quickly. All right, so what you want to do is, I'm still going to be intent on dragging them out of here, but I don't want to necessarily kill any of them and go into invisibility and reset the combat. I want them to be just drug along with me, and I'm going to try and pull them down here toward this direction.
Let's play.
And now for this again, I kind of want to get around a corner so that their ranged attackers can't target me. And some of them are going to bug out and stay in the room, and that's perfectly fine with me. Now, I don't think any of them are ranged. They're not. So I just want to make sure I'm out of dash range on them. Because what I really want to do is free up the detection cones here so that I can get in here behind them and start and make sure I kill the Savarsh here. And there's still the Ardent in this corner. So let's go see what the detection cones look like.
Not one false move.
Okay, so seeing the detection cones are still covering the entire entrance. So that's what I'm trying to do, is clear all of that out.
I've missed this.
And I think that should be far enough. Okay. I didn't expect that. Not a single time have they ever done that. I guess their pathing said it was, for some reason, quicker to get in this way than it was from here to here. So again, I have never seen them do that before, but it is what it is. I'm now in combat, and I need to get rid of the Savarsamor here. So let's actually see if I can drop. I've got one of them with additional hit points. Let's gain arcane synergy.
With haste.
Yeah, I know, Lord Henry. I'm trying very hard not to complain more about the pathing. Very, very hard. Okay. I love all those damage riders. Let's not end her turn yet.
A rough tempest I will raise.
What do we have here? Let's see if we can get Lae'zel to hopefully one-shot the youth here.
Let my name be known.
Got him down to 4.
I don't fancy their
So
chances.
we'll have Gale hopefully with 85%. Okay. And now my additional actions are free, so I'm going to try and soak up the attacks here with my
Can't slow down.
26 armor class.
Victory awaits.
And how far can Lae'zel reach? Okay, she can't reach all the way down there. Let's try and disarm ranged here. Okay, so saved.
Blood comes easy these days.
Hungry for the slaughter.
And now Astarion is just going to keep retreating, but now he can start doing as much damage as he wants. So I'm going to hide,
Just like old times.
sneak attack. And then I can dash. And kind of move around the corner, but not too far, because I don't know if they're going to move back to get back into combat again or not. And I want Astarion to be able to handle this. So right now, they're just going to dash toward me. And they are 16 meters away. So let's just move kind of here around the corner.
Gone with the weave.
Okay, so still coming after Astarion, which is good. And I split them. That's pretty good. I can handle that. Okay, so where can Lae'zel reach? So she can't get there one way or another.
Never a dull moment.
My bard, however, can.
Time to
So let's use Lae'zel's first set here to try and get rid of this youth. Okay, he's got 9 left. Alright, so I can get close enough to use my bonus action.
Still breathing.
And now
Despite
my
everything.
bard can move up here.
Swift as my feet can carry me.
We'll reapply Hex. And we'll use 1 defensive flourish. And 1 regular attack.
Can feel death's cold grip.
Let's skip Astarion for now.
Assured.
Because the Ardent is going to cast something with psychic damage here.
Good move.
Am I far enough out here? Doesn't look like it. No. So I messed up his movement. Only a 65% chance, but it's better than nothing. Okay.
Giant cut and run.
Now, Astarion can just go to work here. So... that's going to get him
Over here.
invisibility. We're going to be taking a short rest after this anyway. And then my unarmed attack. That will end that. Here comes Psychic. Oh, Crown of Madness. Interesting. Okay, so we definitely want to get rid of Crown of Madness here.
Time for a cull.
So let's see where I can get Astarion here.
Moving. The subtle approach.
That's half his hit points gone.
Nothing important is ever easy.
Oh, I'd prefer not to... waste that whole thing. So let's see what we can do with Lae'zel here. Let's see if we can get rid of the youth. Okay, now let's use my bonus action here.
Let my name be known.
And now let's move my
I
bard
wonder if this is worth the cost.
over here.
At the ready.
Reapply Hex. Should be able to end this right here. Outstanding. Okay, so now we're going to take our first short rest here.
That hit the spot.
And everybody's pretty well full up, so let's go ahead and
What a day.
have Astarion fill up a trash bag. Through all of those. Okay, and then we'll take Lae'zel and have her transfer all of her items over to Astarion. The crossbow of Arcane Force, I guess we forgot to talk about. A regular Githyanki heavy crossbow, except it comes with a weapon action. So it is +1, but it comes with a weapon action that once per short rest as a bonus action, you can add 1d4 force damage to your crossbow attacks for 1 turn. Okay, so it's basically a way to increase your damage just for 1 particular turn. We'll just transfer. Okay, so there he reached his limit.
Careful, I bite.
Then we'll send that to camp. So now Astarion is free to pick up more stuff.
Over here. I wonder.
And these dual wielders are really, really dangerous when they get mental instruction and they can do 2d6 additional psychic damage with every hit, because they seem to hit all the time. And now we can make our way here. There's not a whole lot to pick up inside the room here, but you can speak to Youth Varl. Youth Varl ended up getting killed during all of
No one's
this.
stopped me yet. Seems like the best way.
And he's a believer in Orpheus.
The corpse regards you lifelessly.
You can come in here and have an encounter where you can actually save his life. You will end up just killing them during this encounter, so it's 6 of one, half dozen the other. But you can come in here and have a conversation and convince the Savarsh not to kill him. You can also have a conversation where you end up fighting him and pretending to kill him. There are multiple different ways, like I say, to save him, and you learn a little bit more about him. But at the end of the day, you end up killing him here anyway.
Weak-minded, sycophantic, cruel. Everything I tried not to be. Refused to kill. Punishment is death. Tired of killing Orpheus. Better way. Lost prince. Son of Gith. Forbidden. Hatchling believer in the true prince.
The spell's power wanes. You can ask no more questions.
Okay, so you learn a little bit more about the lore behind Orpheus in here. And here is part 2, which we're actually going to read.
Assume nothing.
There's part 1. Here's part 2. And again, more of the lore behind Vlaakith possibly being a false heir to the queen, or to the queenship of the Githyanki. And that's going to update the quest. Discover more about Orpheus.
Delicious.
We won't learn a whole lot more about Orpheus for a while after this.
It's mine now. Subtle steps.
And then there's a couple more items over here on the table, and that's about it in this room. There's nothing else back here or anything like that around this area. And now our next fight. So now this middle part has been cleaned out, and we're just left with this side over here. And there are 2 fights here, and then we are done. So, again, as usual, I'm going to kind of keep everybody back here a little bit, because I want to drag people out of this room that they're in. So that I can get attacks on them without entering their detection cones. And we're going to go this way first, back to the Infirmary where the Zaith'isk was. Because when we left, remember, we had killed the doctor before we got into the Zaith'isk, and then we just did that with the door closed. So nobody was any of the wiser. And we just left. Well, now they're wiser. And you can see that they're all waiting for us in here. And these are not Githyanki children anymore. What was that? Oh, the detection cone is being weird. I'm going to stay back a little bit farther. So, we have some youth back here, but again, we have the same Raider, Ardent, and another Gish here. Again, none of them have the alert trait or anything like that. So, we're going to go after them. The mage hands are going to stay out of this fight. So, we're going to start here. Now, there's an interesting thing that you can do here. You can actually go invisible and lockpick this chest and open it. And there's something inside here that goes hostile as soon as you open it and can make this fight actually quite fun. But it's not worth the action economy to do it. We'll just deal with it afterward, rather than wasting a spell slot or a potion for invisibility to get in here and do it. So we're going to go ahead and start things off, again, with a sneak attack. And we're going to start, again, I'm not worried, there's no mental instruction here. So I'm probably going to start things off here by going after this group here.
At last.
Okay, miss. Okay, that was good. The Raiders, like I say, they roll high in initiative. It's just what they do. So Didn't get a whole lot of damage out. He only got damage on one of them. The other saved against it. So it wasn't the greatest start to this. But again, I'm going to take Astarion. The rest of my party is back here. So I'm going to take Astarion. I'm going to drag everybody back here this way. And this becomes a little bit harder. Just because they have some ranged attackers. So I definitely have to get around corners. To keep out of sight. Okay, so I can probably... Let's start working on the raider.
On the hunt.
Again, try and get around the corners.
Yes, here.
Okay, she was nice enough to turn around for me.
Leave no trace.
Nice. Okay, so here, from all the way back here, I don't think they can dash far enough to get to me to try and detect presence here. So let's just kind of move this whole parade back here a little bit. Just in case they do get here and reset combat. I don't think they can, though. They can't. Oh, they did get close enough. Okay, so they reset combat. Not necessarily a bad thing.
Just like old times.
Because I did get a kill out of it. So now this time there'll be one person down, and their highest person in initiative rolls is now dead. So let's see if I can reach him here. I can. It's that whole being able to shoot through the door thing that's a problem. That's why he has to move forward. He's within range. Okay, so I got a surprise round. So I can actually end this. Myself here. So I'm going to be taking a chance if I do it this way, but let's do it. Why not? So let's get a kill here. Gonna proc invisibility. I'm gonna move Astarion into this room. Instead. Okay, now I'm not going to attack again this round. I could, but I'm not going to. I'll kind of show you how it's going to work here in a second. Because now they're going to approach, detect my presence. It's going to end combat. And now I'm going to be in a much better spot as far as the detection cones go to make my attacks. Because now I no longer have a door in my way, impeding my attacks. So now I can definitely make all of these from stealth and get surprise rounds. Okay, and now I'm just gonna move up here. I don't need to waste my key points on this, but it doesn't matter.
With pleasure.
I say I don't necessarily have to waste my key points on this. I want to keep those two, though.
With finesse.
For dealing with him.
Into the shadows.
If you haven't grasped the concept of how important it is for Astarion to have 2 bonus actions from the Thief ability, you're now starting to grasp it a little bit. Being able to dash and hide in the same turn and guarantee sneak attack damage by being able to hide is very, very useful. So it looks like I'm going to be not going after her this turn. So if we're going to go after him, let's move up here. Okay, rolled kinda low, but still okay. So we'll go in with Flurry of Blows once. Okay, that gets him down to 22. I'll use my second bonus action here on Unarmed Strike. I rolled first in initiative. So now he's got 10. This should proc invisibility. It does. And now I'm just going to move back here.
Be quick.
And go into hiding.
Let's find some prey.
Okay, and because invisibility was procced and not hiding, when he turned around, he didn't see me. Guaranteed round. I'm going to save this. And I'm going to move right up here
Outmaneuver them.
next to him. Proc invisibility again. Move all the way back.
Leave no trace.
Now, here we go. Last turn, or last 2 turns. Get surprise.
Break them.
Easy enough.
I'm so tired. How do people do this all day?
Okay, and again, you can go into these fights with the whole hack and slash mentality. This one is not so bad. It's not nearly as bad as the previous two that we've encountered. But in honor mode, why take a chance that you're going to get overwhelmed? Why even deal with it when, even though it may take a little longer, you can guarantee that you're going to come out of the fights okay. So here you get the Ring of Elemental Infusion. So when you deal any of the elemental types using a spell or cantrip, that element infuses your weapon. So now this is a way for, again, to get more damage riders to your melee attacks by being able to deal elemental damage with a spell, or better yet, a cantrip, so that you're not utilizing spell slots to do it. It's of use, it's of more limited use, however.
A little souvenir.
Because again, you need that whole cantrip ability. And not a lot of your melee spellcasters have it.
Hope for gold.
However, you can get it through various means. So especially like your elves being able to use Firebolt and things like that. It can come in handy. The practice sword, if you haven't seen it before, the practice sword is a short sword, but it is the only short sword in the game that does bludgeoning damage. You can see it there in the tooltip. So it does the same 1d6 as a short sword does. It's light and finesse, just like a short sword is. However, it does bludgeoning damage. So if you get into a fight where you have enemies who are resistant to piercing damage, which is what short swords do, then this can be a light finesse weapon that allows you to do bludgeoning damage. Because I don't know if... I'm trying to think. I don't think I know any other light and finesse weapons that do bludgeoning damage other than the practice sword. So there's actually somebody on YouTube who made an entire build around the practice sword. It was kind of funny to watch. But yeah, if you're focusing bludgeoning damage, that's certainly a way to get it. Oh, the Lush Burgundy die. Nice.
Moving.
And yes, we are going to open up the chest so you can see. And we didn't read that, just in case any of you want to pause it and read through this later. Again, this is more about the history of the Githyanki and the schism that happened at the end of the war between the Gith and the Illithids. Okay, you can pick up the roster here just to sell it. In here, there are some chests to search.
This creche's bunks look entirely too soft for my liking.
Smoke powder bomb, nice, love it. Those are incredibly useful later on in the game. Well, they're incredibly useful all the time, but especially later on in the game. And I believe... No, we have not searched the infirmary, it doesn't look like. We said we were going to come back and do it. anything that goes boom, pick it up, throw it in your inventory, or throw it in your camp. And we have one more fight to do. Which we will do as soon as we finish picking up the items here real quick. Just a few more items over here and we can head out. And I know, not the most engaging gameplay here. I apologize. But trust me when I say, in honor mode, you want all of this stuff. Because if you're just used to playing on balanced mode, you have no idea how expensive everything is going to get. It's kind of crazy how much the prices are increased. I think it's 250%. So yeah, it's bad. Okay, so let's put another trash bag on Astarion, but for now we're just gonna move some stuff onto Lae'zel. Perfect.
I have such a headache.
Need to find a way forward.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get Astarion to open up this traveler's chest. Can't remember the DC on this. Okay, so it is sporty. You heard a strange sound there. Okay, and that immediately started a fight with a Grimishka here. Now, we've dealt with Grimishkas before. However, this one is a little different. You can see that right now it has its normal magic allergy, but it has now been enlarged. It has mirror image, and it's hasted. Okay, that means it's got a 24 armor class right now. With enlarged, it's going to do an additional 1d4 damage, and since it's hasted, it's going to be able to do that twice per turn. So, it's not that it is overly difficult, it's just that it can be a little interesting. So, what I need to do is get rid of those mirror images. That's the first thing I need to do, because it's got an armor class that's up at 24 right now, and that's because of the mirror images. So... Okay, so that got rid of 2, of the mirror images. So it's now down to an 18 armor class and much easier to hit.
Let's turn someone inside out.
All right. If you come into this room beforehand, before you've dealt with them, there are going to be a couple of Githyanki children here knocking this chest back and forth with the Grimishka in it, and you can have a conversation with them to get them to stop doing it and release the Grimishka. Then you get into a fight here and they laugh at you while you're fighting it. It doesn't take anybody hostile or anything, but there's no reason to accidentally do something like end up hitting one of them or something during that fight, and making the entire area go hostile. So I just wait and do it afterwards.
Have I been this way
And now
before?
we have one more fight to do. And as usual,
Can't risk being in open view.
Not a sound.
and that's this room here. Now we didn't go into any of these rooms because we don't have to. There's nothing really important to do in any of them before you get to this point, other than having some dialogue and learning about them. And that brazier's broken. So here I kind of want to stand off to the side. Okay, and in here we've got 3 enemies. We have the Varsh here, who's the custodian of the hatchery. We have a raider up here, and we have a warrior. So, as far as the danger here in order, most of the danger comes from him. He is a spellcaster and can be dangerous, but the vast majority of the physical damage you're going to take is going to be from the raider here. And she has the most movement and the highest reactions to initiative. So we probably won't be able to hit her. Starting here. Yeah, you can't. And you can't hit him with a sneak attack from down here. You can, however, start things off with the warrior. Now we're going to get ready here. We're going to hold control. And we're going to keep slamming arrows into him until he finds us if we pass the stealth check at the start. So just get ready to keep attacking here. So we got a surprise round out of it, but we rolled last in initiative here. So that extra control click did manage to get in a second attack though, which was good. So we're going to dash out of here. And again, kind of the same thing we dealt with before. Get around corners. She is going to Misty Step all the way down here or so, or maybe even down to here. So she can go a long way. Getting around this corner is not enough normally. And I don't think I can get far enough around this corner. Oh, I can.
Yes, here.
Okay, so she went the other way, which I'm actually happy about. Because now they're all going to be fairly isolated here.
Just like old times.
I'm just a bit too far. He's got a bit too much detection range here. Or a sneak attack. But I can get some additional damage. And now I'm dashed. So again, let's try and get around a corner.
Over here.
I'm pretty sure I can bring everybody into the fight now. Because I think that warrior is facing the wrong way. Yes, he is. Okay. So Astarion's not going to be able to get a sneak attack here because of the extraordinarily large detection cones, I bet.
Let's have a little fun.
Yeah, pass interrupted there. Let's see if I can pass a hide check. It did. Nice.
Delicious.
And there's a crit. Okay, that's exactly what I wanted to see. So what's he down to? 28? Let's bring everybody else into combat here because he left me an opening. I'm going to move my bard up here with the high armor class. And I'm going to increase it even more. So first, let's get a defensive flourish here. He's got ready to parry, so the damage isn't going to be much of anything. Oh, but I did roll a crit, so I take that back. And it upped the armor class, so he's going to go after her. The raider, if she does manage to get over here and get a shot, is going to go after me, and now that's a 30 armor class to deal with.
With every breath, a purpose.
So we'll have Lae'zel get rid of the Varsh here. In this first attack, I could probably turn this on. Yeah, an 80%. That will end that.
Surprised you spotted me.
Now, Gale, if I'm going to bring Gale into this, I want to make sure that I keep him out of line of sight of that doorway. Because I really don't want him getting shot by the raider. Perfect.
Outmaneuver them.
Okay, I'm actually going to move back here. She has a ways to go. I want to draw her out of there if I can. Yeah. I want to try and drag her out of there, so kind of move back here. So she can't shoot through the door. That should probably be okay.
On the move.
Okay, that's fine. So did she manage to... She must have hit me, because I had Hellish Rebuke. She rolled a... Can't argue with the 16. She's got... That gives her, with her modifiers, that took her up to 27. And she's again facing the wrong way.
Time for a new approach. The last board is set.
Acid resistance doesn't do you much good when I'm throwing cold spells around.
Keep a blade close.
Onward.
And I think I forgot a couple of things back here. Okay, now there is a check that you can make here. So I believe it's a weird combination. Okay, so I'll be able to my best shot will be with Gale. History's a -1 here. It's a -1 here, but dexterity would be a little better. So yeah, I think we'll try and run this with Gale.
Quite ready for you.
You can interact with the portrait here.
This imposing portrait depicts a powerful Githyanki warrior, undeniably regal in her mien.
Vlaakith herself. She is both the sun that blinds us and the void that contains us. Praise be.
In the corner of the painting is a small symbol you can't quite place.
And here is your history check to find out more about the symbol. You can add bonuses to this. It's a rather high DC, so I don't have any more fights to do, so I can just throw on a bunch of things here. The 1d8 is nice from Bardic Inspiration. I think Fox's Cunning is actually going to be better with advantage. Because that's 8 to 11. Yeah, I think it's better to add advantage here. And I needed it.
You recall stories of a prince riding a comet just like this one. With sudden clarity, you realize it's the symbol of Orpheus, a forgotten hero from the tales of your youth.
The sign of Orpheus? Blasphemy! Would I could quarter the vandal myself.
Okay, and then you have a dexterity check. Now,
This
well, we'll go through this
Githyanki
first.
looks different from the others you've seen here. The way her stark white skin stretches over her sharp features gives her a distinctly otherworldly aspect.
okay, so you're starting to learn that Vlaakith might not be all she's cracked up to be. Then you have a dexterity check. It's funny to do it, so we're going to do it, but you don't have to. Lae'zel's not going to be happy with you when you do it, but we'll see if we can pass it. It's a pretty high DC here. And advantage on this would still be slightly better. And needed it again.
You take a moment to fully appreciate your masterpiece. She certainly looks a little less regal now.
A wretched display. I thought you better than such juvenile antics.
So, a fun, interesting little interaction there that you can get out of it. But again, you certainly don't have to do that.
Eager for battle. Proceeding. Worth examining.
And we'll go search this last room. And this last room is actually really important. We need to go search the Varshir. Almost forgot. He has Varsh Koku's boots. Acidic surfaces don't affect you when you are resistant to acid damage, which is really nice. And I forgot to search this raider here. And now we're going to go into this room.
Entirely too empty. I'd expect to see 15 eggs at the very least.
Okay, and this is going to update the quest to steal the Githyanki Egg that we got from Esther outside. Move a couple of more things. Over here, just for now. There's a notice to him. Basically says, give up on the hatching of the final egg. If you come in here and have a conversation with him, you'll learn that there's one egg that has not hatched out of the creche. And he was born of the final egg out of his creche, and he doesn't want to give up on it, even though he has been told he should. Okay, and that egg is all the way back here. Now, this is an acid pool. Everything is acid in here, so having those boots is very nice to be able to allow you to walk around out here. However, you can't just walk around out here. And we'll try and pass an investigation check here. Okay, we did.
How considerate.
There are these traps around here. These are teleportation traps. What they do is, once you step on them, they teleport you into one of these cages that are locked. And then everyone becomes hostile towards you when you're in here. So we don't have to worry about them becoming hostile, but we certainly don't want to get teleported into a locked cage in acid either. So there's a bunch of these, and they are strewn all over the place. And since investigation is an intelligence check, there's something else to remember about this room, in that there are perception checks to find traps, and those are wisdom checks. So it's a strange combination to be able to find everything in this room as you're moving around. So I tend to just deal with the wisdom aspect of it, and that means just finding the traps and not the stuff on not the teleportation wards. So to do that, I'm going to move up here. And I failed it, of course.
Still alive.
Nice.
So that's progress.
He's by far got the best chance, and he rolled a 2. Jeez.
On my way.
He's by far got the best chance to find these.
Someone there? Yes, all right. Mine.
No one back home will ever believe this.
Okay. Before you move up to that one, make sure you've got guidance on again, because there's another one.
Someone's left a trap out for us.
Disarming them isn't that hard because of the low DCs, but you have to perceive them to be able to disarm them. Okay, now for this you want to have a high strength character. That's for the trap down here. Not too worried about that. Okay, and now I'm going to move down here, make sure I've got guidance active when I do this. And I'm going to jump right here into this corner. Okay, so I passed the perception check on the gas pit underneath here. Didn't really care about the investigation check, but I managed to pass it as well. And now you want to disarm this here. And make sure you click on a side of it. You don't want to click the far side because the Astarion will walk out here in the acid to go disarm it. And you know what? I might as well not take any chances, right? Since I have the boots. Once it's disarmed, then you can interact with the egg.
Large green egg with an uneven shell. You can see a vague outline of something within it.
And I'm just going to stow it in my pack for now. And I'm immediately going to transfer it to Lae'zel. Now start making my way back. The same way I came in. There's no reason for you to search anywhere else. The stuff in the, or the things in this box back here, it's nothing worth knowing. You see the Lae'zel has an
Things have
icon.
stayed interesting. Moving in. I have a lot on my mind.
An unhatched Githyanki egg should be the burden of a Vash, not a warrior, whether ascended or otherwise. And yet, I'm drawn to the warmth of it. A child of Gith and a servant of Vlaakith grows within. Keep it close. Perhaps in our care, it might yet hatch. And don't you dare pass it to that lunatic woman prowling the mountain pass.
Okay, and the results of that are not going to play out until the very end of the game. And by the very end, I mean the very end of the game. For now, since Lae'zel is not going to be with us for most of this, we're only going to be bringing her back in periodically to deal with her quest line. We're going to leave the Githyanki Egg in her inventory. It weighs a bunch. It weighs 20 kilos. I'm in metric here. So keeping it in an inventory is kind of prohibitive in a lot of ways. So you can keep it in your camp chest. You just need to make sure that before you go through the final battle, that you put this in Lae'zel's inventory before you do that. So once you do that, you're going to get something that plays out because of it. And let's see if I can clear up any of this. I'm not going to be able to, I don't think. Get her unencumbered. I'm not. Okay.
Let's move.
So, now at this point, if we open up our map, we have opened up everything inside the creche. Again, this side of the hatchery, you don't need to explore. There's nothing over there. So the Githyanki creche is done. It is all cleared out, and we did it in a way that didn't necessarily have to cheese things. Because, again, normally this is all a red area, and you can't long rest in here, even though we know we can. By heading down into this area here, you can long rest here. This is the area that leads you down to the Blood of Lathander. So if you run out of action economy, you can come down here and rest. Take a long rest and get your spells and everything back. The way I did it here just illustrates that even on honor mode, if you're careful with your action economy, you can still manage it. Because see, I still had one full short rest available. So what we're going to do is, now that everybody's dead, we're no longer in a red area. We can do whatever we want here. We can fast travel out of here, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to be doing that next stream. Now, I'm going to warn you that the start of next week's stream, there's going to be a lot of housekeeping. Okay? There's nothing going into the Shadowlands in Act 2 does not prevent you from coming back here to Act 1. You can fast travel back and forth. However, there are certainly some things that we want to do from a housekeeping perspective before we head into Act 2. The first thing, obviously, is I want to get all the gold for all the stuff that I've sold or that I've collected. I want to clear out my inventories. I want to reorganize my inventories, because Act 2, it's a significant step up in difficulty, and we want to make sure that we have potions, arrows, scrolls, all of that sort of stuff figured out. So I'm going to do some of that off stream, sorting out, equalizing potions and that sort of stuff, and my inventory selling and management. But there are some things at the start of next week that are going to be that might seem a little boring, in that we're going to go through and we're going to do the Necromancy of Thay. I don't believe I've done that on any characters here, and I'm going to do it with my Bard. I'm not going to do it with Shadowheart, so that you can see something different in how a Bard goes about doing it. We're going to go fight everybody in the Zentrum hideout. We're going to clear that out and get all the XP from it. There's one item in there that's a very rare item, but I don't think it's any good. Actually, I think it's horrible. But we'll go pick it up anyway. And then I want to make sure that we've gotten our respecs done for all of our characters that we're going to take into Act 2. Make sure that we're all best prepared for what we're going to run into, because like I say, Act 2 is a significant step up, and we want to be prepared for it. So probably the first half of next week's episode, except for the combat in the Zentrum hideout, might be a little slow, but then we are definitely going to, because we also have to deal with Elminster and the whole conversation there with Gale. And all of that stuff will happen before we really get into Act 2. So be patient next week, but hopefully all the combat and fun this week will make up for a slow first half next week. But we're definitely going to get into Act 2, and that's going to be a big deal for us. So we'll drop a save here. And as always, thank you all for being here. All of the comments in chat from all of you are very important. I really appreciate it, and thank you very much for all that support, because without your support, none of this would be possible. This is Commander Jorval saying, until next time, fare thee well.